What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just Be SN podcast, and today we have episode 41. And my lord, we have missed quite a lot of things since the last time we spoke. Specifically more Cavs related, but we will get to that later. But we all know the news, so we're going to fill in on that and just give our 2 cents. But do want to start with the Guardians today because they just played. I know you were just at, at the
Yeah.
game. As you can see, my boy over here is sunburnt, so he
Yes,
was
sir.
definitely there at the game today. But they won 8-4. Ben Lively put up a solid 6 innings, 3 earned. He really gave his last two earned in the last inning that he pitched. And the guys came out and hit the ball well again, which is nice, especially after the last few games. We've been on a little bit of a slump, but nothing to be too concerned about. Quan continues to extend this sort of just all-star caliber year that he's having. Hits a home run, scores 2 ribbies today. The Naylor Bros came in and scored a pair of ribbies each. And of course, Jimenez continues and contributes with a pair of RBIs and a nice play at second base as well
Mhm.
today. Overall, good game. I know the White Sox aren't that great, so everybody was kind of pissed that we lost last night. Didn't really play well against them, but it's still a division rival, and no matter how bad a team is in a division, they're always going to play you a little bit better than they do other teams. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's in every sport. So overall, what is your feeling after this series? I know a lot of people are still mixed up because a lot of the moves that were made, which we'll get into here in a second. But the boys came out and played today at least.
Yeah, the boys played really well today. I mean, they basically reversed what happened yesterday. We lost 8-2 yesterday. We came back and went 8-4. So we basically just Uno reverse card them and
Yeah,
said, listen, you're going to punch us in the mouth. Well, like Jose Ramirez to you last year with Tim Anderson, we're going to punch you right back.
yeah.
And we're going to smack you in the face. But, God, it was so funny to hear him get DFA'd by Miami, by the way.
I
But
was just gonna say that, like, what a turn of events! Like that dude was calling himself, like the what was it the next Hank or
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Brown Robinson, and then he gets knocked out by freaking Jose, and he has not been the same since. Like
No,
that dude,
definitely
that
not.
that is one of the biggest fall offs I think in like sport history. That's
Yeah,
just
like
crazy.
he hit like a monster home run like 2 years ago against the Yankees in the Field of Dreams game, whatever. Then gets decked in the face by Jose. Comes, I think goes to Miami and he gets DFA because he's batting like 140 and he's just
Yeah,
atrocious.
yeah, so funny.
Yeah, no, that's the baseball gods putting in work. But no, going to yesterday's game, I can't put I can't put a whole lot of blame in at Gavin Williams. It's his first start back in a full year. Obviously he had surgery and stuff like that. He had to go into rehab and he got smoked, but that's what you expect when guys just get called up. That's what you expect when people just get back from injury. We saw it with obviously McKenzie this year. We saw it with Carrasco this year. We saw it with a lot of guys over the last couple of years where they just get called up and it doesn't go so hot. That's baseball for you. Every team goes to the same shit where they'll get a new pitcher. He comes in, he'll get the shit kicked out of him in the first game. It just happens. So you got to give him a chance to settle. I know people were freaking out yesterday being at the game. Like everyone was like screaming and then like, "Oh my god, get Gavin Lynch the fuck out of here! Send him back to AAA where he was balling." It's like, okay, AAA is easy for a guy
Yeah,
like Gavin Williams. Of course, in his first game, it don't matter if it's the White Sox. It doesn't matter if it's the fucking Yankees or the Astros. He was gonna get murdered either way. He was getting killed. So let him settle in, let him get some work in. He'll be fine in the next couple starts, and he'll be back to the same old Gavin Williams. To today's game, Ben Lively, absolutely perfect. I mean, 6 innings, 6 Ks. Like you said, the only runs he really gave up were in the last inning he pitched, where he gave up the 2 earned. Hey, that's not a bad start. That's what you want your guys to. And Ben Lively's been a big surprise for us this year.
yeah.
We got him, and he just came in lights out. And
Probably the
but
most consistent guy so far this year.
yeah, besides Tanner, besides Bybee, he's definitely been the most consistent guy on the team. Him and Bybee both have been our two most elite pitchers so far this season, and without those two, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We probably wouldn't be having a good talk like this about it. So shout out to Tanner Bivey and Ben Lively for saving this team for so far. And don't get me wrong, Logan Allen, he's
He's
been
serviceable. Yeah.
he's been serviceable, but again, this is his second season. He's probably having that sophomore slump. It'll happen.
Mm.
So, but yeah, today Quan, um, the Naylor Bros, Jimenez, all two RBIs and just playing lights out. Josh Naylor's bat's getting hot again, which he started off the season really slow, batting like 220. Now he's batting like, I want to say in like the last 2 weeks, he's been batting like almost like 340 or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
same with Bo Naylor. Bo Naylor in the last 12 games has batted like
Confidence has been
350.
boosted. That
Yeah.
kid's playing so much better now.
And this is what we've been wanting from Bo Naylor,
Mhm.
and this is what we've been needing from him. And he has finally come alive. The bat has come alive. He's been hitting the ball well, doubles machine, and he's got to keep that going. We like to see the confidence. Um, even Jimenez is starting to hit the ball really well. He started off decent, and then he went to a little bit of a slump for a good long while, and then he came back. So
Oop.
a lot of these guys had their slumps and they're now back to being normal hitters and back up into the 240s and above average range. And I mean, of course, Quan and Jose are going to do their thing, and Quan with another home run, which he's just going to keep adding to his record of home runs in a single season.
Yeah.
And I saw this. This is crazy too. I saw this. I think it was today. Quan has more home runs this year than Julio Rodriguez.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Did just see that before we start.
that's
We started here.
insane. Like Julio Rodriguez, obviously last year when he was a rookie, absolutely smashed. He had like 35 home runs, was batting like 270. Like again, rookie of the year over Stephen Kwan, but it was definitely hard to give either or because both were just insanely good.
Yeah.
But again, Kwan having more home runs than one of the best power hitters in baseball is just absolutely hysterical to me.
It is, and I want to note this too before we get back into things. This is why you have to continue with certain players in baseball. It's a long freaking season. And
Yeah.
baseball is very up and down, man. Like it really is. And if you don't understand the game in that way, you will be one of those fans that's very loud and very impatient, calling for guys to get sent down and all this stuff. You know, and we've talked about guys like Arias and Rookie and just other guys that have had big slumps, and then they come out and have good weeks where they're starting to hit the ball better. They're not having to make as many mistakes on the field. It just takes some guys some time, and it's the nature of baseball, and it's the beauty of baseball. It's not always pretty, but you have to continue to stay patient, especially with guys like Bo Naylor. We all know how talented he is. We all know he is a Gold Glove type of catcher. His defense is incredible. Once he puts the bat together, which he has the ability to do, and how he's been doing for the last 12 games, sky is the limit for him. So you just have to be patient with those guys. And I give Vogt so much credit. He's been incredibly patient with a lot of these guys, including McKenzie. He was very patient with McKenzie. It took Gavin Williams coming up to say, "Hey, let's put you down in the minors. Let's work on you. Let's get your command back, and let's throw it at you again in the later part of the year. And if you are still struggling, then we will shut you down for the year and try to figure something out. But if you can find it again, you then become part of the major rotation. Then you add so much value to that. And so, is it an if? Yes."
Or you could
But
throw
that's
in a bullpen
baseball.
in that regard too, and just have a big bullpen piece at that point. And like the two guys, like Gavin Williams stay in the lineup, let Matthew Boyd, who's eventually going to come back from IR, come in.
And it's the same with Carrasco. When we've talked about that too, where he's going to add value to the bullpen as soon as he's available to actually do so and not have to start for us every fifth game or every sixth game. And I give Vogt so much credit for being patient, and it's because he understands the game. He as a player that's played pretty recently, he understands how it goes, especially as a catcher. He understands, and he knows the talent is there. They just have to work through it, and that's just baseball. And so, as a fan, you have to keep checking yourself and understand that these games are going to happen. These slumps are going to happen. I'm gonna personally guarantee Quan will have a stretch where Quan's, you know, his betting average starts going down. You're gonna have a time where Ramirez is gonna have a slump. Guys are gonna go into slumps. Pitchers aren't gonna pitch amazingly. It's just the nature of the beast, and you
Mhm.
just have to ride the storm. And so, uh, the good thing about this team is they're very resilient. They're just like how the Cavs have been for the last few seasons, where it's just very resilient. The Browns last year very resilient.
Mhm.
It's just kind of the Cleveland way. I don't know what else to say. Like it's just how Cleveland sports goes. It's not always going to be pretty, but this team is still one of the best teams in the league. And I know teams like the Phillies, the Yankees are doing really well because of Aaron Judge hitting the shit out of the ball. I mean, I know he's got a million home runs right now, but this Guardians team is still very good. They're getting better power hitting, and I'm telling you what, with John Kenzie, with uh, Angel Martinez, is that his
Yeah,
name?
Angel
Yeah,
Martinez. Yeah.
you know, just adding these guys to value and then being able to still have a potential to make a trade. This team has so much potential. It's not even funny. So you just have to be patient, and that's my biggest point that I want to make before we go on to anything else. Is please be patient with this team because it's baseball. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, and looking into it, we have the best home record in the American League, and I think actually we have the best home record in baseball, sitting at 28-10.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the best home record in baseball. So when you play at home, it's a good chance you're going to win. But also too, like you said, it's more credit to Stephen Vogt for being patient with everybody in the roster,
Yeah.
whether it was Quan being injured and going on IL for a couple weeks, whether it was Carrasco and McKenzie slumping, whether it was Jose in a minimal slump, whether it was Josh in his slump, all these guys in their slumps. And he said, I'm still going to play you every day. You know, I'm still going to give you the opportunities. It's not like we would see, what Tito would do and be like, okay, well, I'm going to put in Miles Straw if you don't do well in the outfield today. And then Miles Straw is going to be our number one starter, and he's going to bat 145 and make great diving catches in the outfield. like, like you said, even the new guys, John Kenzie Noel has stepped up big time. Angel Martinez has stepped up big time. He had almost his first major league home run today. He just missed clearing the wall. I think he was like a foot away from clearing the wall for his first major league homer. So he was super close to that. Yeah, I almost turned that into a triple because of his speed. But there's got all these young guys, even the bullpen guys like Gaddis and Cade Smith, all these guys who are still young and up and coming, pitching very well out of the bullpen. I mean, Tanner Bybee pitching well as a starter, Logan Allen being serviceable. Even Carrasco got out of his slump, and in the last two games, I think he got 6 strikeouts in both of those games. Like Carrasco was looking like the old himself again, and you could use that in the bullpen. McKenzie, if he could fix his command, he could be called up and be utilized in the bullpen. Matthew Boyd, if whenever he comes back, he was a very good pitcher for Detroit for a long while, and he used to kill us a lot. He could be really good. So what the Guardians have done better than anyone else is just being patient with what you have and just rolling with the punches. And like you said, it's that Cleveland fight, man. The Browns have it, the Cavs have it, the Guardians have it. We're literally number one in the American League, the number one team. So people continue, and I know you want to segue into this probably soon enough, but the fact that people continue to count us out, a lot of the media continue to count us out, but it's all what you said, dude. It's the patience and the fight of this team that goes such a long way, and it starts with Stephen Vogt, a guy who's in his second year of coaching in total because he was a fucking bullpen catcher's coach last year for Seattle, a bullpen coach, not even in the fucking dugout with the actual coaches, a bullpen coach, and he gets his first ever managerial gig, and he's crushing it. Second best team in baseball right now, and it all starts with him. And never giving up on his players, and everyone seems to like it. And he's got that young player mentality still, where you just gotta let the young kids play, man. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, and that's dude. Again, it's exactly what you need out of a young manager, and
Hmm.
that's what we were missing last year. You kept having the same issues with Tito. We're saying, dude, we're playing guys that aren't even contributing. They're batting 200, and you're just putting them out there because you know that they can play.
Yeah.
Because they have experience in the league. And don't get me wrong, it's sort of important, but in this game nowadays, the younger teams always seem to play better. I mean, look at the teams that just won the world or went to the World Series last year and won the World Series last year. They were both young. The D-backs were young. The Rangers were randomly young and randomly built, but they were built to win. So were the D-backs. So you have to stay patient with some of these guys because you know that they are going to be key contributors. Now, I will say to go back to Gavin Williams, um, he had a rough start last night, but I don't think it's the end of the world, and I you shouldn't really buy much into that performance
Hmm.
because again, he's spent time in the minors. He's gonna take some time to get used to pitching in a major league level again because it's not like he really got a whole lot of work last year either. Like he
Yeah.
really didn't get a whole lot until
He
the
came
very
up
end
super
of the
late.
year. Yeah,
He
so
came up super late.
and even same with Bybee, last year,
Yeah.
and that's
And
why
Allen.
it took Bybee a little bit this year to really get into his rhythm.
And it's the
So
same with Logan Allen too. He came up at the same time as those two,
yeah,
and
so you
he's
have
still struggling. Yeah.
so you have to be patient with them. Just let them work through their things. But with Gavin Williams coming back up, thankfully, McKenzie gets sent down to the minors, and we were talking about how this could very well be the thing that makes McKenzie go to the minors, and quite literally, that was part of the designation for that day. Was sending him down to the minors. It doesn't sound like McKenzie is hurt. It is strictly mechanical. It is strictly command, as we've been saying the last few weeks. And I really, really hope that this minor league stint can give him a time to step away a little bit, regroup, and actually get some work on what is bothering him command wise. Because the velo is there. We talked about it. He's still able to get up to 94, 95, and that's fast enough in this league, especially as a starter.
Hmm.
Starters really aren't the guys that are going to be throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. That's usually closers, honestly, if I'm going to be really honest. Because though
Yeah.
those guys can handle it because they're only there for, an inning. They're only there for 15 to 20 pitches if they're doing a good job. So it's not to be expected for him to be throwing 99 miles. It's just not. Cool if you can, but it means nothing if you can't command the pitches and you can't sort of set yourself up early in the count to really work batters and to really make the count favor you every single time because he's falling behind, in counts, which means he has to just throw fastballs down the middle, and that's what guys are waiting for, and that's why he's getting, sent yard every freaking game. I mean, I think he's given up like 12 home runs in his last few starts. It was just a rough go for him. So, um, what do you think about him getting sent to the minors? Obviously, we both think it's the right choice, but um, how long do you really feel like he should stay down there before you decide to be like, okay, let's see if he can come back up?
I mean, I think you give him as long as he needs.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be one of those things where you're going to recall him in 2 weeks and say everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those ones where he might not even be back until the end of
September.
September,
Yeah.
and we're getting ready to start the playoffs. And that gives him all of July, all of August, and pretty much all of September, 3 months to work on the things he needs to work on. And that should be a good amount of time because you only get a month of spring training, and well, almost a month and a half in spring training. You're getting almost 3 months in the minor leagues to settle in, fix everything. Like you said, it's all mechanical, it's all command. He touched a couple of games. The last game I went to that he pitched, he was able to touch 96 as his top one. I think he had like 2 pitches that topped at 96. So the velo's there. He worked. Obviously, the velo came along during the season because at the start of the season he was throwing maybe 91 at as his fastest, and he's able to get it up to 96. So it tells me that it's just mechanical and it's just command issue. Because if you needed surgery, you would not. You still be barely touching 90 miles an hour if you needed surgery. It just tells me that he just needs to find a way to relax his body, relax his shoulder, and just work on his command. And I think 3 months should be a decent amount of time to not completely fix the issue, but to at least be effective. So he's not going 2 1/3 innings, or he's not going 3 innings. He's going Ben Lively like at least 6 innings, and that's all you. Again, that's all you need. You don't need him to be old Tristan McKenzie getting 12 strikeouts. You need him to be Ben Lively McKenzie and get at least 6, 5 or 6,
Give us
and
distance and give us
just give us distance.
and don't give up a lot of runs.
Give us
That's all you
give us
need.
again like a Ben Lively. Give us at least 3 runs and 6 innings. We would all be very happy with that.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. And that's all you need. You don't need to go out there and again be your old self and throw 96 and throw 9, 10 strikeouts a game. Just get your command to where it's good enough to where you will be effective. You don't need to be elite, just effective. And they might have him slow down a lot in AAA and like, hey, listen, don't gas it to 96. Don't gas it to 95. Just keep it low 90s, 92, 93. And we'll work on your slider. We'll work on your curveball. We'll work on your changeup. And we'll just learn to locate your pitches. Don't worry about throwing it as hard as you can. Just locate them. And if you can get them off the plate to where people are swinging, if you can get them inside, high and away, like, and you're starting to get a lot of strikeouts in AAA, like you're starting to touch like 7, 8, 9 strikeouts. Then we're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this kid is real, and we see the videos of his command looking really good. Yeah, we can see this kid coming back up later in the year and be here and be ready by playoff time.
Yeah. And if you can get that, that is best case scenario
And
at
he's
this
still
point.
26.
Yeah.
He's like 26, 27 still, so he's still insanely young.
Yeah.
So you still got time with him.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2 months, see where he's at, and if he's still starting to struggle, I say shut him down for the rest of the year. So 60-day, IL stint or whatever. Say, okay, you're gonna get 2 months to figure this out, and if you can't, we're gonna shut you down so you can take as much time as you need to either go get your surgery, or go do whatever work you need that you need to do, or just take time away from the game, reset, and then come back.
I think one thing, and as someone said this before, I think it was Adam the Bull on the UCSS show, and I kind of agreed with it. I think you should take that time too. If you do get shut down, build some muscle,
Yeah.
build some body weight, because he said it best. He's like, good pitchers have good size. I'm not talking about super buff or like super like Bartolo Colon, like
Yeah.
just a big boy. Like he's talking just he's 6 foot like 3, probably like 160, 170,
Right.
and maybe put on 30 pounds, go to 200, go 190, so that way you're not throwing your fucking arm out, and you could add a little bit more mustard and maybe even a little bit more velo into your pitches. So I think what he needs to do is actually just, if he does get shut down, just hit the weights a little bit, put on some muscle, man, get to work.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good point. I don't necessarily know if it's gonna be muscle that's gonna get him through that. Um, Baseball players are built so weirdly. Like you don't
Oh
need
yeah.
anything specific. Again, it's just getting the muscle a little bit stronger.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Feeling
It,
like he has more control with that
yeah,
rotator cuff and just with his arm in general.
yeah, it's just strengthening his muscles. I'm not saying like you have to
Yeah,
be shredded as fuck,
yeah,
but like put on just a tiny bit of weight and a little bit of muscle, and again, you probably won't feel as sore. You probably won't feel as bad, and I think everything will be okay. Just
Yeah.
a little bit of muscle, not too much.
But I still think at the end of it, it's all pure.
It's all mental for sure.
And that's why I'm saying let him take.
As much
I'm
time
even
as he
saying
needs.
let him take a week or two off, just like get away, go take a vacation. Literally get away from the game for a little bit. Mentally reset yourself.
Mm.
Go on runs, do whatever the hell you want to do. Come back, start from scratch. Work with somebody that you can trust within this team to get him right. And don't rush it. But yeah, give him about 2 months. See where he's at. And if he's not where you think he needs to be, shut him down for the rest of the year. Or you say, hey, we'll give you another 30 days max. And by the end of September, if you're not ready for a playoff run, or if we can't get a few starts under your belt before the playoffs, we're just gonna have to shut you down and just let you get back to normal.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're already. This is the biggest struggle that the Guardians have is they're starting, you know, rotation. So it's you can't afford to really give up any more than you already have had to give up. And that kind of leads me to one of my next points that I do want to make a little bit later, because I do want to talk about the All-Star game as well. Quan and Jose are going to be starters for this year, at least.
Yeah.
You and I were starting to talk to about like other guys that we could see. Obviously Josh Naylor could very well be one. I know he's not the top first baseman, but he could definitely become a dude that if somebody gets hurt or whatever, he could easily fill, a spot on that team. If we're talking pitchers, Tanner Bybee has a very good chance of being there. Class A as a closer, especially. I don't know where he ranks exactly on saves, but I have to imagine it's pretty freaking high because we have a lot of wins. So he's another guy we could see. Sky really is the limit here. So I'm expecting another two or three guys to go to the All-Star game. So I'm expecting probably three or four, maybe even five guys going this year for the Guardians. I mean, God, what can we even accredit that to? Like, is that vote, or is that just the players just stepping up this year and just filling out what they needed to do last year that they couldn't for whatever reason?
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with vote, to be honest with you. Again, we had a lot of these guys last year, and they just weren't cooking. I think the only ones who were cooking were obviously your three mains, your Quan, your Ramirez, and your Naylor. Everyone else was kind of just down in the dumps. And I think it was just the freshness of having a new manager. I think it was the freshness of newer ideas and the freshness of, listen, your job is not guaranteed here right now. Anyone can get sent down, anyone can get called up at any moment of the season at any time. So do not feel like your job, like Miles Straws, don't feel like your job is absolutely safe.
Yeah.
If you struggle for a month, your ass is getting cooked and you're getting sent down. And we've seen in players day in and day out, almost every other day, getting sent up and sent down. And it's not just due to injuries; it's just sometimes it's just due to bad play.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool, your ass is getting sent down, and he works different players to say, listen, okay, John Kenzie Noel has had a great start to his MLB debut and career. Let's keep him up here. He's been playing really well. He's been hitting the
So
ball
Tenya
well.
goes.
So Tenya goes.
Hmm.
So, and it's the same thing, Will Brennan goes down.
Yeah.
Angel Martinez comes in, bats really well. Okay, he stays. Brennan, you can go on IR. And they sent down at that same time too. Who they sent down? It was another outfielder. Jonathan Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Yeah, they sent down Rodriguez saying, "Listen, you're not cooking like you were in AAA, and now he's cooking in AAA again.
Yeah.
But it seems you're just not ready for the show just yet. So you're going to stay in AAA for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think these guys understand that, and I think it makes them play better because they know that their jobs are on the line and that they could get sent down or sent up. And the players in AAA can get sent up and replace them.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Josh Naylor can go off the rails, and they could say, "All right, Kyle Manzardo's back up again," and they might do something with Josh Naylor where he might just get limited time at DHing.
Yeah.
So nobody is safe, and I think that's what's working right now with the Guardians. Is it's fresher ideas, and it's not the same players every single day. I mean, look at the rosters for the last few games. It's all different people pretty much in every single position, except for your second base and third base and first base, which is your Jose, your Naylor and Jimenez.
Yeah.
Shortstop changes a lot. It could be Arias. It could be Daniel Schneemann. Same thing in the outfield. It could be John Kenzie Noel. It could be Daniel Schneemann. It could be Angel Martinez. It could just be someone random.
Freeman.
Freeman. So it could
Fry
be
even.
David Fry. Hell, David Fry could be the next starting pitcher for tomorrow's game. You don't even know.
he does it all.
He probably throws gas. I won't doubt it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's so nice because everyone's like, "Oh my god, what is this lineup?" It's like it's different people every day, and guess what? It probably confuses the hell out of the other teams too. Like they're probably so used to seeing the same boys every other night or every night against the other teams they play. But when they play Cleveland, everyone plays Cleveland. It's like it's a different lineup every fucking game.
Yeah.
Like maybe 3 people stay on the roster. It's different people on the other nights. And those 3 people they know very well. 4 people they know very well because you could add obviously you add Quan in there, but
Yeah.
I mean, hell, they DH Quan multiple times in the last couple weeks, and they'll
Just because they know. Yeah.
they just throw in they'll just throw in Tyler Freeman out in the outfield, and the outfield being John Kenzie Noel, Martinez, and fucking Freeman, and then everyone's like, "Where's Quan? He's fucking DHing. He's in the dugout chilling."
Yeah.
So I think it's just the freshness of everything, and it confuses other teams. It definitely keeps players on their toes because anything can happen. You can get sent down. Other guys can get brought up. So, or you could just be replaced for that game. Fucking, we seen Gabriel Arias when Josh Naylor was in a slump play first base.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what's been helping this team win. It's just newer ideas and just job security is not guaranteed.
Yeah, and I think that is the freshness of having vote, and I think that's what we were totally missing the last few
And
seasons.
that's why they respect them.
And that's why they respect him, and that's why the team's doing better. Because we saw, especially at the end of last year, when we started bringing up some of these guys from the minors, they started to cook, and we're like, where the hell was this for the entire season?
We probably could have made postseason.
And it's because Tito is too loyal to certain players, like Brian Shaw, and like stupid players like that you knew was just they were gonna lose you games, but he kept going to him. Yeah, and he just kept going to him, and I'm like, dog, you can't keep doing this to yourself, and it forces the front office to be like, hey, we either have to trade them or we have to literally waive them because they're not contributing at all, but you keep playing them. So, again, I know Tito is so respected; he's one of the GOATs, but it just proves furthermore that it was just his time to exit.
Yeah.
Because you need new strategies at times, you need new faces, and you need somebody that's going to be open and being, okay, this guy's hot right now, let's go give him a chance. See what he gives us, and if he gives us life, you keep them. Guys like Schneemann, this guy should not really leave this roster for the rest of the year. He's batting so great. He gives us enough power. He gives us flexibility on the defensive side of the things. It just, John Kenzie Noel, it's guys are contributing every single night. It's not just the same people. Of course, you're always going to have Quan throwing in some hits. You're always going to have Jose, the Naylor bros, but those guys you just expect to show up every day. But it's the other guys that didn't show up last year that are showing up every single game, or every time that they step out, they're always doing something for us. And so that's what makes this team so special. And that's kind of what I want to go into next. How in the hell, after a depressive start so far this year, getting ready to go into All-Star break, how the hell are media guys still not buying the Guardians in the AL this year? Like, we're top 3 team in the league. record wise in the entire league, and yet you're still bringing up the Yankees and the Orioles. Um, why the hell are we still not getting talked about enough? Like, is the starting pitching really that bad to where these media guys are like, you know what, the Guardians are good, but they're not good enough to win the World Series? Because truly they are. Like, they have the capability to win a World Series this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I highly recommend people. I know MLB Network did a segment on the Guardians. I think it was almost like a week ago now. And Harold Reynolds, who was a former player of the MLB, obviously on the show, and the two other guys can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I just remember Harold Reynolds because he was the only one who was talking negatively about the Guardians on the show.
Damn.
The other two guys were like, "Oh, we're completely bought in on the Guardians. Like, we are so bought in." And I was like, "Okay, those guys have some common sense. They're completely bought in now." And they did like a top 5, and they both had the Guardians within the top 3. And Harold Reynolds is like, I just can't buy in, and they're not gonna continue this. They're gonna shut down, and they're gonna lose, and they're gonna get killed. They're not. I'd be surprised if they actually make the postseason or even got into the wild. They might sneak into the wild card and this and that. And then he listed teams he thought were better. So he had his number 1 team was the Yankees. His number 2 was the Orioles. His number 3, or no, his number 1 was the Phillies. His number 2 was the Orioles. His 3 was the Yankees. His 4 was the Braves, and his 5 was like the Dodgers or something. And it's like, and it's just like,
Oh my
dude,
god.
the Guardians are literally better than every single one of those teams you just named, except for the Phillies.
Yeah.
The Phillies right
Which
now,
is
the
the
only
top
team-
team in the league right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we're 2 games behind them for the best record. We're tied with Baltimore right now for the second best record. So I understand having maybe Baltimore and Philly ahead of Cleveland because I still do think Baltimore is slightly better than us. But the fact that him and some other guys are just sitting there just like, yeah, I can't buy into this team. Like, I think it's just because it's just a Cleveland thing. And I'm sure you notice it too when everyone always talks Cleveland sports. They always have something negative to say about Cleveland sports. They never
Always.
have anything like good or like hype to say, besides maybe like a few people. Good Morning Football. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he always buys into the Browns now,
Yeah.
and we have some people on MLB Network who are completely bought in on the Guardians. But there's a lot, and it's just your mainstream guys like your Cowards and you know your Shannon Sharps and all those guys are like, I can't buy in. I think they're just gonna struggle for the rest of the. They're not gonna win games, and they're gonna end up falling off a cliff. And they're like, well, Minnesota's better. Minnesota can barely even win a fucking game now.
Minnesota
and,
is 6 games behind us right now.
yeah,
For
and they're like
reference.
Kansas City's gonna be better too, and it's like Kansas City's 7.5 games behind us now.
I mean, they have the best record home wise in the league,
Yeah,
but that's all they have because they're 17-23 on the road.
yeah, and people are actually looking into there's people think there's like a scandal going on with the Royals at home
I
because
saw that. I saw that too. I'm curious about that.
because umpires have been letting pitches go for like Kansas City, like what they would call a strike for the Kansas City pitcher, they'll call ball for like other pitchers in the league,
Yeah.
and they're just kind of allowing Kansas City to kind of like have a little more wiggle room to throw outside and shit like that. But it's whatever, I guess, because they always get cooked on the road. But yeah, I don't get why media members just haven't like looked at not just the stats but just the eye test. Why don't you watch the Guardians
Yeah.
and see for yourself? Because Harold Reynolds literally said, "I don't think I've watched a single Guardians game this year," and I think oh no, you know who you said he had over the Guardians? The fucking Mariners.
The Mariners are, I mean, okay, so they are leading their division. They're 48 and
He said
41.
he said the Mariners are better than the Guardians right now.
Not even close.
And like to your point, you know why he said it? Because I like their starting pitching more,
Yep.
and that's the only reason. Doesn't look at anything else. Doesn't look at Stephen Kwan and Jose having career years. He doesn't look at anything else. He just, well, I just like their 5 starters better. And
I
the other
mean,
guys were sitting there looking at him like he was so stupid. It was like, dude, even though their pitchers have been bad, like the Guardians pitchers top
our
five has been
bullpen's the
bad.
best in the league by like
Yeah.
0.5 ERA less than any team in the major leagues.
And that's what they brought up. They're like the bullpen is elite for the Guardians. They're like, look at Kwan and Naylor and Ramirez. Those guys are elite right now. And he goes, I just can't buy him because their pitching sucks.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
he's
just
a
an
big
ill-informed person.
well,
What it is.
well, and this guy's a big Yankee homer too. Like,
Yeah.
he sits there and watches like all the Yankee games, but he'll refuse to watch like a Cleveland Guardians game, and then he'll go on air and just say the Guardians are just trash, and it's like, dude, you don't even watch a game, like you can't comment on this.
Well, and here's a fun fact about the Yankees. The Yankees have a better win percentage away than they do at home.
Yeah,
They're 30-18 away. They're only 24-17 at home.
yeah,
That's
they're struggling
funny.
at home.
Yeah,
They
that's
just lost.
funny.
They just got cooked by the Reds today at home. I think it was like 8-4.
I mean,
The
Philly.
Reds.
So the Phillies and the Orioles are the only two teams that I would say are better than us, strictly because of their starting pitching. But if we can figure this out, and we wouldn't be having all this issue if Shane B. Bieber did not go down. My God, how good this team would have been if Shane B.
We
Bieber was
probably
still here.
have.
Best
we
rubber
probably-
record in the league by now.
I think
by
we
far.
would have. I think we would have like 5 or 10 less losses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'd be over 60 wins easily right now.
We'd be, I think, the only team over 60 wins right now.
Especially with the way he was pitching
pitching.
at the start, man.
With a fucked up arm, he was throwing 12 strikeouts a game.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't even give up a run during those two
No.
games he pitched as well.
He didn't. I don't think either. But
Now,
yeah,
in the AL in general, we do have the best win percentage. I mean, we have one less win than the Orioles, but we have one less loss than them. So that's what puts us above them. The Yankees have 4 more losses than we do and the same amount of wins. And then the Twins, I mean, the Twins are all right, and obviously we know King. Kansas City's starting rotation is like one of the best in the league.
Mhm.
But I mean, we hit the shit out of the ball right now, and our bullpen is so damn elite that like it's hard to not say we can't be the best team in the league if we just find one more quality starter, like a top guy to add to this team. That's all they need.
there's one guy I was looking at that we could potentially get for a cheap, and we saw him yesterday. Eric Fetty.
Yep.
Eric Fetty is a good starter.
I mean, you might as well rescue him from being on the worst team in the AL,
I'm sure
Central.
I'm sure he wants to leave, and you could probably maybe get Crochet or something too from Chicago because he's also an elite starting pitching too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having either one of those guys. So if you can get one of those guys on a nice cheap, this rotation is solid again. Like
Yeah.
it just has to be, again, like we talked about, it just has to be solid. If you can give me 6 innings, the bullpen will do the rest. The bullpen will go to work. You just need to get to 6.
Yeah.
And guys like Eric Fetty can get you to that 6. Hell, Eric Fetty in his last 6 starts, he's gone on average 6.5, almost 7
Yeah.
innings. Like he's touched 7 a few times, but he's gone more or less like 6.5 innings.
Yeah.
So
That's all you
again,
need.
he eats innings, and even if he gives, again, it's like having a Ben Lively. He'll give up 3 or so runs, but he'll strike out 7. He'll get you to 6 innings, and you can go into the bullpen either tied or with like a 1-run lead or something, and
that's when we're gonna win games that way
and that's
because
when
we just
start
have the
winning
clutch
games.
gene.
Yeah,
So
and then you can, and then next year you can dump Carrasco. You can dump a couple of, and then you have Bieber, Bybee. If you want, whatever you want to do with Ben Lively,
McKenzie,
Logan,
Gavin
Matthew
Williams.
Boyd,
yeah.
Gavin Williams. Now you have a pitching problem because you have too many
Yeah.
good pitchers now. Now you get
And now you can start using some just getting
Put
some
some-
trades out there. Yeah.
get some trades out there, get some picks, put some guys in the bullpen.
Yep.
Get the bads out of the bullpen, and You're back to one of the most elite pitching teams in the league, and your hitting is elite. This team's going to be good for years.
Oh yeah. And then my last thing I want to add before we go on to the Cavs talk, because I'm not realized we've been talking about this for 45 minutes now. So I want to try to wrap this up so we can talk a little bit of Cavs. Do you think that the front office, if they do not make a trade for a quality starter, do you think that they're not taking this year and this team seriously?
I would say yes and no. Yes, because again, it's a typical. They're not. The Guardians are never buyers. We're more just wait and see type of team. And no, because the way this team has been playing, I wouldn't be too upset because you did sign a pitcher, Matthew Boyd. Again, he's not going to come back until early August. And again, it goes back to the yes because now you're too hopeful for the starting five. And you could probably get somebody at least somewhere serviceable. It doesn't even have to be the players I just named, as long as it's someone serviceable. And I know Chris Antonetti said the other day that, and I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is typical Chris Antonetti" and stuff like that, but people don't understand how difficult it is. And he said the market's going to be really rough, especially for pitchers, because teams, even bad teams, have a hard time letting go of good pitchers. So it's not like you can just go to Chicago and say, "Hey, can I get Garrett Crochet?" They're gonna be like, "Well, you got like your top 3 prospects ready for us?" Well,
Right.
no, we don't want to give those guys up. Can't fucking have them then. And it's gonna be the same wherever you go. You always have to be willing to give someone up, always. And that's the problem with the Guardians. We love our farm system a little too much, and sometimes you do just have to let people go. Sometimes that's when you let Chase DeLauder go. He's too injury. He's too injured. He should have been called up by now. If he wasn't injured, he would probably be here right now as we speak, as our starting right fielder, left field, or center fielder, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he keeps injuring his foot every other goddamn week and going on a 15-day. And it was like that last year too. So you could probably say, hey, look, we got this guy here. We got like a Juan Brito, hell, even like a Jose Tena.
Yeah.
You could have some of these guys as long as we can get one of your best quality starters.
Yeah.
Again, from Chicago, you could take Eric Fetty, Garrett Crochet. You can go to Toronto and get Kikuchi. There's a couple options you can go for, but you have to be willing to part ways with a couple people.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing, Chris. And but again, I can't bash Antonetti because he's right. Because a lot of these teams, even the Chicago White Sox and even the Oakland A's,
Yeah.
the Oakland A's have Mason Miller, who's like the second best closer behind fucking Class A. They're not going to give him up.
Yeah.
You really think they're going to give him up unless the Yankees come in with like a fucking $100 million year offer or whatever? Like, but I understand people are frustrated with that kind of answer, but he's also right. People are not just going to be willing to let their starters go unless you give them something good in return that they can utilize later. So if the Guardians want to be serious and do what we did in 2016, where we were like, oh, we're probably one pitch away from contending, give up a couple of those guys. And you can get yourself a good, like, I'm talking a good starter, a good quality starter. And it's a guy you could probably keep around for a while, too. Don't have to worry about cooking no more. You could probably send Logan Allen back down to the minors and let him get back into groove or put him in the bullpen. You got good starters. You could DFA Matthew Boyd if he's just okay. Who cares? Like, so I at the end of the day, I still think they should be buyers. They should at least try and go and get someone.
And if you're not, then you're really not taking this team seriously. And I mean, I totally agree. Like, I know the plan wasn't for Vogt to have us contend.
Yeah.
But plans change, and sometimes you got to go with with your gut. This is when you got to act. This is when you got to attack, and this is when you got to say, listen, we are ready to win now. Let's go win now. If you make the move, nobody's going to be not happy about it. I mean, yeah, we might give up a guy or two that we don't want to get rid of, but as long as it's not one of our guys that are really like truly contributing, if it's just a prospect that hasn't touched the field yet, I don't care. I really don't, because the chances of that guy potentially working out is slim to none anyway. Like at least right now. Like I said, I'm more worried about right now. I'm not more worried about what this team's going to look like in 2 years. I just it's too far away from me to even where we're worried about. So don't worry about giving up prospects that are playing for Lake County right now. It's just not going to matter for us. So
Yeah, and it's funny too because I'm actually looking at kind of yeah, kind of trade rumors right now,
yeah,
and all like the Bleacher Report, Sports Illustrated, whatever. It's all
it's a lot,
uh
man.
no, it's Cody Bellinger to Cleveland, a big possibility.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine getting Cody Bellinger in the outfield in
Oh
place of
my
Tyler
god.
Freeman? The guy's
Heck
batting
yeah.
270, and he won MVP in 2019 with the Dodgers, where he smacked 48 homers. Now, he did fall into irrelevancy over the last few years because of injuries,
Yeah.
but the Cubs revitalized his career, and he's back to batting 270s, smacking the ball again, and could be a nice little outfield piece. But again, there's some rumors of obviously potential pitching and but as it stands, Chris Antonetti has said that let me go back to the article for Cody Bellinger. Where does it say Chris Antonetti? Let's see. Oh, Antonetti has said that already that the ball club will be aiming to upgrade its roster in any capacity between now and July 30th deadline. So it seems like the Guardians are going to try and make at least a couple moves by the deadline. So it's safe to assume that we're going to be more or less buyers between now and the July 30th deadline. We'll be
We
buyers.
should. Yes, we should.
And so that's as if you're a Guardians fan, that's got to be refreshing news to hear and saying like, hey, look, if this guy's willing to go out and get fucking Cody fucking Bellinger and maybe even a starting pitcher with it,
Yeah.
this
Yeah, you got a
team
chance.
this team is definitely making the fucking World Series and having
Yeah,
a
they're
good
built
chance
for
of
it at least.
winning it, yeah, and going for it
Yeah.
or making a
So
very deep run.
yes, and that still counts too, considering we haven't really gotten out of the wild card in a few years. So man,
2022 we got out of the wild card.
right,
We lost to New York. Oh, we almost beat New York too in the
man.
ALDS,
I know.
which
I
is
remember
fucking
that.
wild.
So
Good times.
point is, I think the Guardians have to be buyers, and I think if they're not trying to be, if they're not active in that, I think they're doing themselves a disservice, considering fans are showing up. This team's ready to win now. So hopefully they do. But I do want to move on to some Cavs talk before we end today, because we are already 53 minutes into this bitch and we haven't even talked yet about our guard or, about our Cavs. Sorry. So yeah, the biggest news obviously is Donovan Mitchell extending, which to us was a no-brainer. It was no surprise. We thought this was going to happen. We were not one of the ones worried about him leaving.
Yeah.
I trusted everything he said, and I loved the videos that he put out after he signed, of just being like, he was pretty much just getting physically tired of hearing it. He was like, I'm here to work. I love Cleveland. This place is dope. So let's get to work. Like he has no intention of leaving. He likes the fans, and I think he understands that this team is a team that is built to win. They're just like a piece or two away. Clearly, JB held them back in some sort of capacity. I think it was very obvious for all of us. So obviously, what do you think about him finally extending? I know it was sort of a long wait for us, and people were getting a little nervous, saying like, "Why isn't the news out yet? Like this should be a slam dunk for us. It should be a guarantee." And we got it done. 3-year deal, pretty much a 2-year deal with a player option for one, because he'll reach that 10-year mark where he's able to get like a super max deal at that time. So
Yeah.
just overall, are you just finally fucking relieved? Because I know I am. I was so tired of hearing the media saying he's gonna go to the Lakers, he's gonna go to Miami.
He's gonna
He
go to New
stayed.
York.
He stayed.
Yeah.
He stayed.
Um. No, I mean it's fantastic news, and I could already like. And the thing is too, from what they said, like the deal was pretty much done. Like, because he signed what was it 2 days ago
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think from what someone said was that they pretty much locked it up on Saturday.
All right.
Like it was already a done deal that he was staying and stuff like that. I think he was just waiting to see what else was going on and whatnot. I think he was just chilling too before he wanted to sign. So the deal was pretty much already done and dusted like days prior, and he had every right to be pissed off because it seems like whenever a star like that comes to Cleveland and it's just unexpected, like I was at working at a Target when we got Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
2 seasons ago, and I just happened to look at my phone. I was like, "Holy shit! The Cavs have Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell." We just and it's like nobody like thought of that at all. Like everyone's like, "Why the hell did he go to Cleveland?" Like, and I was not even expecting it. I was like, "Why the hell did he come here
It's
too?"
because he knows the roster. Like this starting
Yeah,
five was built for success. It's a
yeah.
solid core that just needs the right coaching and the right system to work.
hmm
And
Yeah,
JV just wasn't it.
yeah, and I agree. And you know, he also got tired of the rumors of. He got tired of the media saying, "Oh, Donovan Mitchell's not staying. He's not gonna stay." Like
Yeah.
I got news report that Donovan Mitchell wants out of Cleveland and shit like that, and it's like, and he got tired of the media trying to pressure him to leave Cleveland, and that's all it was. It's just the media is trying to peer pressure him to saying, "Listen, dude, you got to get out of Cleveland. We're gonna peer pressure you to get out of Cleveland. You don't belong there. You're belonging in New York or Miami
Mm-hmm.
or a Laker. Like you need to get out of there. Like you need to be a star somewhere else. You need to be in the Lakers or something." It's
I
like,
think
oh my
he
god,
likes the
dude.
more small town vibe. Like I really think he likes being the like
he
just the guy
he
on a
grew
smaller
up.
team.
He grew up a Cavs fan for his entire life.
Yeah.
He grew up a Cavs fan, and the thing is too. Look what happens when guys from places like Cleveland and stuff go to New York, aka Francisco Lindor.
Fucking hate it.
He's
He
horrible
he's
now.
miserable over there.
He's
I'm pretty sure
miserable.
he wants to come back at this point.
Yeah, he's miserable, and the lights were too bright. Like the only one who pretty much had any success of doing that was, of course, LeBron James because
Yeah.
he's just that kind of guy. But Donovan Mitchell probably likes how quiet it is in Cleveland. The fans like him. He digs everyone. Like it's just a relaxed environment. It's not all right, but you gotta shine. Like you gotta do this. Otherwise, you're a failure. If you don't win with the Lakers in your first season, you're a fail. You're an absolute failure. If you don't win with Miami in your first year, you're a failure.
Well, and again, he is the guy. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
Darius is a guy. Jared Allen's a solid piece. Evan Mobley is geared. He should have his best pro season next year, in my opinion, especially in this new system. I'm seeing clips of him. His shot is starting to look different. It seems like he's getting a little more air on it, and it seems like he's also getting more air on his like actual shot when he's going up. So he's in the bag right now. Like he's in the lab getting ready to give up for this next season. He knows what's at stake. So we have pieces, man. We're literally a few away, and kind of brings me into this next topic. Uh, well, really two things. One with Garland. Uh, Rumors were that he's actually been pretty pissed that he was thrown around in trade rumors because he never wanted out, and that wasn't the word. Even though we've heard from people were saying his agent was, pretty much going to say if Donovan extends, he's going to want out immediately, and that just
yeah.
didn't happen, like at all. So, what is your view on that? And then I'll kind of hit you with a two-parter here. Um, I still think there's a chance for some sort of trade, but it sounds like it'll be centered more around Okoro with a sign and trade because he is a restricted free agent. So the Cavs still have availability to, if they like the deal that somebody else throws at him, they can literally just say, "Hey, we'll pay you that. That's fine. Go ahead and stay with
Yeah.
us." So yeah, what about the Garland stuff? And then, do you think it's going to be more of a Coro, or do you think somebody else is going to be on the out for this roster?
Um, as for the Garland, for the first part for Garland, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the article. He was really upset and pissed off that any like leaked of him wanting to leave Cleveland, he was super upset about. And then Chris Fedor said that he didn't want out pretty much at all, and that he likes playing alongside Donovan Mitchell, which he should obviously. And again, it's just more media trying to run a good player out of the off the team and say, hey, go to the Lakers and be a piece around the Lakers, or go to this place and be a good piece around here. And again, it's just media trying to get rid of people and trying to downplay the Cavs and get players out that shouldn't be there. They're probably gonna do the same with Mobley and Allen and some other guys. And it's like the media just doesn't want the people of Cleveland to be happy and just enjoy their lives and enjoy basketball and
Yeah.
football. Like,
Everybody wants Cleveland to be miserable.
and it's like, I get it. Cleveland has been the team to be picked on for years in any sport, but we're finally good now in all three sports. Once the Guardians make the postseason this year, it'll be the first time in the same calendar year that all three Cleveland sports teams have made the postseason in the same calendar year in history. So Cleveland sports is on a rise, and no one wants to see it, and no one likes seeing it. And you could tell it's pissing off Garland, it's pissing off Mitchell, because we're building something here, and nobody wants to see the Cavs hoist up another trophy, and they don't want the Browns to lift the Lombardi. They don't want the Guardians to lift up the World Series trophy. Like, they don't want that. Everyone was super stoked that the Cubs beat the Guardian or the Indians back in 2016.
Yeah, nobody wanted us to win that besides us.
Exactly.
Because everyone was like, well, it's the Cubs. They've gone over 100 years without a World Series title. And I was like, they haven't won one since 20 something or 30 something.
It's like 1946 or something.
Yeah, it's some stupid.
Or 1948 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were still the Spiders at that point.
Yeah. So everyone's like, oh my god, like, thank God the Guardians didn't win the World Series in 2016, and everyone was pissed that we won the NBA championship.
Yeah, that's true.
In fucking 2016, everyone was pissed. Could you imagine if the Guardians won the World Series?
That same year? Yeah.
Two trophies?
God, Cleveland would have been nuts. Especially because that year, I think, was the worst Browns year.
That was the worst Browns year, because that was the
2017 season was like after that championship.
Yeah, that was a 1-16 season, or the 0-16, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but 2 championships on top of that? That would have been such a great, funny year. That would have been
such like 2 out of 3 teams did great. The other one had the worst season in NFL history besides the Lions and a few others.
Yeah. But
so funny.
Yeah. Oh my god. That would be the greatest thing in history. That would be a stat for life. But yeah, to the second part. What's the second part? One more time.
Just for the chance of a trade.
Oh, the Okoro. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be just Okoro centered, or do you think Jared Allen or something like that?
I think it's just going to be Okoro centered. It seems pretty stern that Atkinson and Altman want to keep and all those guys want to keep the core 4 around.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Donovan and Garland want the same. They want to keep Mobley and Allen around.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think all 4 are going to be great together. I just don't think JB was the coach for it.
No, yeah.
And
clearly.
And Kenny Atkinson is a more offensive minded guy.
Yeah.
He could get Garland back to what he was. He could definitely get Mobley into a star, and Jared Allen was just great. Like, there's no complaints about Jared Allen at all. And I think it's more centered around Okoro, because I think it's the core 4.
Yeah.
And then Okoro's the odd man out, because he's basically your 5th starter. And so he's the odd one out, and they want to sign a good wing. They want to there's obviously news about Brandon Ingram, Cam Johnson, Finney Smith. There's one more that we talked about. I keep blanking on people's names. It was Finney Smith. It was Cam Johnson. It was
And Mikal Bridges has been the
Mikal
latest guy I've
Bridges.
heard.
Mikal
Yeah.
Bridges. So there's a few guys that they want to trade a Coral for, and they might package maybe someone else
Yeah.
or maybe a pick. I don't know. Again, I don't know who.
I mean, we have like I think we have I think they said like 5 second-round picks for the next 2 or 3
Yeah,
drafts.
yeah, and so we might get rid of one of those with a Coro to get one of
Yeah.
those guys.
Yep. Use them up.
And the thing is, if you get a good wing player in place of Okoro, this starting five is really fucking good.
Yeah.
This is an insane starting five. So I think it's Okoro who's going to be the odd man out. And then you're going to see the likes of like Max Struess push to the bench. And don't get me wrong, that's going to be fine. I think they're going to add maybe another person or two to help upgrade the bench a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't mind having Max Struess glued to the bench and coming off and trying to make an impact.
No, I don't either.
I think he'd be great at that. He did that in Miami. That was his role in Miami. And I think he can fit that role very well. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that some people have roles and his role might just be the backup.
Yeah.
So, but I think Okoro will be the odd man out, and I think the Cavs are going to look after and get someone, again, like a Brandon Ingram, someone who can average over 15 or more points and just be what this team needs.
Or even just be a better wing that can
Yeah,
still
just be a better
add
wing.
some scoring. Like we don't
Yeah.
like, especially if you're gonna be trying to replace a Koro, you're essentially replacing a bench player. You know, and like I think the only way you're able to also get Ingram in that way would be if you're getting rid of like Levert. Maybe
Yeah.
Jared Allen gets thrown in that if that comes to blows. Because I just don't think Brandon Ingram is going to be a cheap trade for us. You know, I think a Mikal Bridges or even a Cam Johnson, that'll be a little more doable. Those are two teams that can add a young guy to add to that bench and just help them with a little bit of scoring and just as some minutes because that's what they need. Like especially the Nets. The Nets are very young right now. They're sort of in a rebuild. So a guy like Okoro could probably actually add some value to a team like that, and I think he would play better in that. And I know it would suck for us to see him do that, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to average, 15 plus points with this team and how it's constructed, just because he's not much of a scorer. And in the unit that he was playing in, he just didn't add a whole lot besides defense, and listen, give him credit. That's still going to get you paid.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just going to be one of those things where I think he's just the odd man out because I think he makes the most sense as to he needs to change it, and so does the Cavs, and I think it's just a mutual partnership there. And like I said, I only think Jared Allen is a guy that gets traded if the deal is for Brandon Ingram or somebody of that caliber. That's the only way that you think about getting rid of Jared Allen. Because yes, I did still think out of the core four, he would be the odd man out because Mobley can just take over the center position and we're fine. But again, that's if you go get a Brandon Ingram because the Pels need a center and we need a stretch four guy so Evan Mobley doesn't have to worry about being a stretch four because I don't think he plays well as a stretch four.
No, not at all.
And that's just my opinion. I know there's probably some more people that also agree with that, but like he played so well against Boston when Jared Allen was out, and he played well against Orlando when he was out too. So like, I just think you are able to give him the keys to that spot. Say, hey, you're gonna be the big boy. You're gonna be able to get a double for us every night, and you're still gonna add more scoring because Jared Allen is only good under the rim. He adds no other value to that, and he gets out rebounded a lot too, which is weird as well with his size. He should not be a guy that's giving up 4 or 5 rebounds to a team and giving them second chance opportunities like we saw against Orlando and we saw against Boston and over the course of the last few years. I don't know. I just still think he's the odd man out of that core four.
Or you can just get a Brandon Ingram, use Caris LeVert and Okoro,
and
then just push Allen to the bench and make Mobley your main center. Allen comes off and is a good center off the bench, and you have your stretch four in Brandon Ingram.
Or if you really want to get freaky, you could put Strus on the bench and just have all three of those guys play. Then you just
Yeah.
have three 7-footers that can score and shoot. That team would look so. That would be a like NBA, my or not my player, but their version of Mutt. That's
Oh
what
yeah.
that's what that would be like pretty much. Like that would be fucking hilarious.
That
Do
would
I
be
think that happens? No. Like I think in order to get a Brandon Ingram, I think you got to give up Jared Allen.
yeah.
Just because it just makes the most sense for either one. So does he? I don't know if he doesn't though. I do think Kenny Atkinson at least gives them the ability to be like, okay, this is how we are going to be successful. Fuck what JB said to you or what he was trying to do. We all know it didn't work. Listen to me. Let's get this thing right, and then this team can win games. I mean, we saw them. How many games did they win before All-Star break? Didn't they go on like a 13 or 14 game win streak or something?
Yeah.
It was something nasty.
It was something
Like,
disgusting. It was like
and
12
then
to 14.
before and then before that I think they had another like 7 to 9 game win streak before that other loss, before the big streak. So like they were rolling before the All-Star break, and for whatever reason after the All-Star break they kind of started falling apart. Injuries started happening, and then the playoffs happened, and then we just got so injured that Donovan can only do so much.
Yeah.
If you run that back with a healthy squad, full, I mean, you can take Boston 7 games and potentially even beat them with, especially without Porzingis. I mean, they didn't have him either, so
Yeah.
it's still a unique spot you're in because the team you have now can win. Does the coaching make the difference? I don't know yet, but
Yeah.
I think he will add a lot more value than JB ever did, and him going to Detroit, it's actually a better move for him. I think he'll have great success with Detroit because he'll be able to actually work with a young squad and build his own team. Because truly, that was not JB's team. That was Kobe Altman's team, or that was Dan Gilbert's team. Now Dan Gilbert has his guy with his team. Run it back, see if it works, and then if not, you blow it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least you have Donovan for the next 2 to 3 seasons. And that's really all that matters, because you have Darius and you're going to have Mobley, because I guarantee a extension for him is soon to follow, especially if we trade Okoro. Because you also have to worry about, are you going to trade Okoro? Or keep Okoro and then pay him as well. So like money's going to be starting to fly off. So you got to make choices as well. So at least the important one was done, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's still going to be a lot of time to see what happens, but it's very exciting.
Yeah,
because
it is.
This team could be so good, and it's just very exciting to see that, again, like you said, JB can have great success in Detroit. I think he's a great fit there.
Yep.
I think that Kenny Atkinson can definitely lead this team to where we need to go, and we're going to make moves, and the Cavs might be a great looking team this season. A very good looking team, and it's going to be very exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Same.
But all right, well, that is probably gonna do it for us. I know we talked a lot about Guardians today, but obviously the big news, with with Donovan and stuff, had to. So yeah, we're gonna see what follows now, because as I said a little bit ago, there's still money to be flying off the roof here, and I think we're gonna be a little active here soon. So hopefully by next episode, we'll have some more news on that, and then hopefully, I believe our stuff will be ready. To shout out to our editor Nat. She's working her ass off right now for this. I cannot wait to see the result. We've seen some early stages of the overlay and the new logo, because we're getting that done as well. Both look sick. I'm really excited for what the finished product will be here soon, which I think she'll probably hit me up probably sometime this weekend. I would assume, unless she needs a little more time. But point is, hopefully next week this will look different. It'll look clean, and it'll be the new look for the upcoming football season. So Andrew, hope you have a good night. We will see you guys next week.